Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. Man, that is beyond long.
Look at this. He's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess. Hello world, huh?
Welcome, everybody, to the Smash Factor, Week 10 of the 2022-2023 PGA season, the Tournament of Champions, our first PGA event in the calendar year 2023, but they are still doing the wraparound. Supposedly, this will be the last year we kind of have the wraparound, so we had a good little break from PGA. Been enjoying football. It's been good. It's been a great bowl season. Just finished the USC Tulane game, hit the Tulane +2 to take the bowl picks to 23-8-1. So been on fire there. NFL was on fire. Went through a little downside about a week and a half ago, but now I've hit 6 out of 7 again. So football's still rolling. We got Rose Bowl about to kick off, and then a week from tonight, TCU and Georgia for the national championship. Certainly got Monday Night Football tonight, which should be a really, really good game. Bengals and Bills, we got you covered over there. Lots going on. Excited for golf. This event's always, ease back into it. We get 39 guys, as Rory is the only one, I believe, that's not here that qualified. And then we get into a full-fledged tournament next week with the Sony Open. A little bit of night viewing for some of us on the Central and East Coast with the time difference over in Hawaii. So all in all, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year, calendar year-wise. We're going to be rolling out the new improved golf tools, dashboard, all that here with our goal is for next week for the Sony Open. I'll update that Wednesday on the pod as well. No recap or anything this week, obviously, since we've had several weeks off. You can go to the website right now if you want to get one of these hats or the shirts this week only. I did it last week, but we'll roll it in since we were rolling back in the PGA. I got them 75% off, trying to clear out the inventory, get some new stuff in for 2023. There's no code needed, so if you just go to gupscorner.com, click the store, it's already in there. You can go check those out if you'd like to. If you want to join the site, New Year, get you 30% off any package this week only. I was going to end it tonight, but again, I was kind of forgetting that we're doing PGA, so I'll roll it till tee time start Thursday, and then we'll be done with the 30% off. It includes a 7-day risk-free trial, so come check us out. Tons of stuff going on there, college football, NFL, PGA, NBA, like I just said. Looking forward to a great PGA year. It's going to be a fun one. Rate and reviews on iTunes, probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, probably maybe end of February, somewhere around there. We'll start announce the big March to the Masters, what we're doing this year for giveaways and stuff like that. That'll get you into some of the drawings that week, and it always gets you into the big drawings. So if you rate and review us, I keep them. If you subscribe to us on YouTube and like this video, and then in the comments section, leave the comment each week, whatever we ask about. What I want to know now is who your favorite player is, 9K and above. Salary's a little interesting this week, a little soft. Especially with Rory being out, but there's 6, 7, 8 guys still 9K and above. Who your favorite player is this week? Leave the comment. That'll get you into our future drawings as well. Listener League will return next week, so I will drop it on Monday, and we'll fire back up that as we go to the end of the year, and we have our big championship like we did last year. Course preview, Plantation course at Kapalua. You can go check out Kenny Kim's article on the site if you would like. Much more in depth than what I do. Let him take care of that. Par 73, 7,600 yards, 4 par 5s, 3 par 3s. Very gettable course. We're going to see it's going to take in the 20s for sure to win. Last year, Cam Smith and the hot putter went -34, but he only beat Rahm by 1, so Rahm shot 33 under. Previous years have been 25 under, 14, 23, 24, 22. The 14 was a year weather, winds, stuff like that can get extreme up there and make it a little bit more difficult. But for the most part, and this week as well, weather looks really, really nice. Doesn't look like it's going to be too windy. Gonna need to get mid-20s probably to get to win this. Super wide fairways, elevation makes it play much shorter than the 7,600 yards. It was renovated. The new course or the post renovations were 2021. They're doing it to make it a little easier for the amateurs and try to make it a bit tougher for the pros. I think now, the greens should be settled in, all that kind of stuff. Last year, we kind of were focusing on, harder greens, stuff like that. Should be settled in now. Really didn't, like I said, I think maybe Harris English's first year, but we hadn't seen the lower scoring in general. So I'm not sure how much it really helped. Hopefully the amateurs got a break on it with the renovation, though. Iron play is always important in an event like this, giving yourself the most opportunities. And then, like I said, the hot putter is going to come into play when you got to get up in the 20s. Like I said, weather is really good this week. I don't see any rain. Winds don't really look crazy. So I think it's going to be a gettable course. You're going to have to shoot 5-6 under every day, and then have a chance to give yourself a chance on Sunday. There's no cut, so 39 guys, unless they withdraw, they'll get all 4 rounds. I got the winning score, -24, -25. Some previous winners, Cam Smith, Harris English, Xander, DJ, JT twice, DJ twice for that matter, Spieth, Reed, some runners-up, Reed, Spieth, Matsu, Rahm, Reed, Neiman. So you've seen a little the guys that get to come here regularly. And this year, I believe the PGA changed it to every winner on tour, which is what it's always been, except for the COVID year. And then now I think if you make the finals of the FedEx Cup, you get to come to this event as well. Now, I think that's a permanent change. This year, obviously, they did it as you had some guys on Live that would have been here, but obviously they're not. But I think they're keeping that change no matter what. So if you win a tournament, it qualifies you. And then if you make the top 30, at the FedEx, that final week, you're in. If you weren't already in, you get in as well. So you'll see some of the names here, and that's how they got in if they did not win last year. Stats I'm looking at, overall approach, opportunities inside 18 feet, par 5, DK scoring, birdie or better, and good drives. New to the course since 2016. I think I had it as like 12 that have not played it, which, decent amount when there's only 39 guys in total. Salary ranges, 2 in the 10K. Rory did withdraw. 6 in the 9K, 10 in the 8K, 10 in the 7K, 11 in the 6K. So very, very easy to build whatever you really want. It'll really come down. And anytime you have a no-cut event and 39 guys and, you're Xing out a certain amount that you probably don't even want to touch, where can you get some leverage and ownership this week, or just get overweight? So maybe I'm playing Rahm. I don't care. He's 10,000, way too cheap, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to play him. When you make those stands on weeks like this, I'd probably get aggressive on that. Or maybe I'm just going to play, 3 9K guys and build with there, 2 9K, 2 8K, and then fill in, anything like that. I think whatever you decide, I wouldn't spread myself out too thin this week to try to cover every angle. I would get a little more, and we'll get into more of this with the articles and stuff. And then Wednesday, we'll do the E9 like I always do Wednesday night. May see if Kenny Kim can come on, but get in more depth of the strategy, game theory, things like that. Once we start getting a pulse of ownership and how can we get a little bit different, and be aggressive in it, because sometimes people go, I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and they wind up spreading themselves too thin in events like this. Now, right, if you're wrong, if your aggression's wrong or something, whoever you go high on, then it can backfire. But I would rather have the guys I'm high on an event like this really overweight and get multiple combinations with people around them, so that if my core hits on a week like this, then I hope I get the bullets, filling in the lineups that go well for me. Typical format today, I almost cut it back a little bit with only 39 guys, but I felt there was enough there to do normal. So I give 3 plays, each salary range, and a bubble boy. And then fade of the week, sleeper of the week. I did cut back the gut feel plays. I normally do 4, only did 2. Betting top 5 to pop and 2 long shots provided by Prize Picks and Underdog. And then one and done normally. I'll talk about that, but this week there's no, most pools start next week on one and done. So I'll bring that up and then we'll wrap it up. Try to keep it 30 minutes normally, something like that. Straight to the point, the things we want to talk about the most. 9K and above for me. I like Cantley this week a lot. He's had two top 5 finishes here, a 13th and a 15th. So, pretty decent all the way around. He's number 1 in the stat model for me, 8 in recent form. Again, recent form is very low for me this week because no one's hardly played, in the last month to 6 weeks. And most of these guys, there are a handful, especially some of the cheaper guys that did play a lot of that Bermuda, Mayakoba, Houston, or that little fall swing of 9 events. But a lot of these guys didn't play any, or certainly didn't play some of the last ones. They kind of got the ones they wanted in, and then they started their break for the year. So it'll be interesting next year to kind of see what, the calendar year. So we're going to stop in August, basically. The guys get a bigger break, and then do we see more guys loaded up on some of these events because you're not having to worry about the fall swing per se. So I'm interested to see how that rolls out in the fall. I just like Cantley in general. He's got good history here. Great history here doesn't always mean things, but you have seen a lot of consistency with guys that play this course well. And sometimes it's not. So Matsu's had a 41st and then a 2nd, a 4th, right? Whereas Rahm's played here well. Cantley, I just mentioned. JT's played here normally well, but he had a 22nd once. But the other 4 years, he's had 5 years, he's had top 5s or better with 2 wins. So I do kick up the course history a little bit, but I'm not going to look at it negative just because the guy's never played here. Just trying to profile who could do well here. 9,700 pricing's not going to, like I said, you can virtually build how you want this week. So I'm not going to say, well, it's a good price and all that. There's a lot of guys that are good priced. It's more about the strategy and the game theory, like I said. Next, Finau came in red hot to end the year. He won the Houston Open. Has okay here. He's not done well. He had a top 10 in 2017. Then he didn't make it for 3 years. 31st and a 19th. So some flash there, nothing crazy. Interested to see where his ownership is, because in general, he was really popular, especially as he was on fire coming down the stretch. Okay history or nothing great. You'll hear some narratives about the guys with the big families and a lot of things going on. Are they shaking off rust and something like this? They're guaranteed a paycheck, yada, yada. So maybe we get a little bit lower Finau on something like that. We know he's got plenty of kids to take after during the holidays, not entertaining, all that kind of stuff. But 4th in stats, 4th in recent form, 7th in putting here, 14th overall in the course fit model. So 4th in approach, 9th in par 5 DK, 4th in birdie or better. Doesn't really have to worry about spraying it off the tee much here. So, if he's got a good putter and he's 7th in the field, he could be there come Sunday. So I like him. Good price. JT. So my third guy, my bubble boy, you could interchange. I went with JT. Probably it'll be interesting to see how their ownership really shakes out. My gut would say Rahm's going to be higher owned. So Rahm's the bubble boy for me. JT's, I think they'll both be high owned. Both have great history here. Rahm a 2nd, an 8th, a 10th, a 7th, a 2nd. JT, I mentioned a 1st, a 22nd, a 3rd, a 1st, a 3rd, a 5th. So he just likes this place, plays it well. Seems like everything about it. Probably be a good maybe a good pivot off of Rahm, but I still think he'll get some ownership just because of the way the pricing is. And Rahm's the bubble boy only because of the ownership. My gut will be he may be the highest owned of the whole slate, as we dive into and get into, Wednesday afternoon and evening and tighten that stuff up. 8K range, I'm going to go Willie Z mainly because, in a week where we really need some leverage, the narrative I assume in the industry will be coming off the injury, shaking off rust. What's he going to look like? He got hurt, withdrew, didn't play in the FedEx Championship, all that stuff. So he's never played this course either, hadn't played in forever. All that I hope keeps the ownership down. At 8,900, certainly well on price. Give me a top, flirt with the top 8, top 10, probably top 8. Get you there. 2nd in approach, 1st in opportunities. 7th in DK, par 5 scoring, 2nd in birdie or better. So I just like everything about it. I'm hoping it's a good leverage spot. I hope it didn't get talked up. It'll be interesting this week, too, because you still got tons of football going on. Rose Bowl just kicked off. Monday Night Football tonight. Maybe a lot of the I hadn't checked to see if podcasts have started rolling out yet. People with their families, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden it's Tuesday tomorrow. How many people are going back to work? Kids are going back to school. Do you get a little bit of and people are still, focused, got bankroll on NFL, right? And a little bit of college football, but that's Monday night and it's over. So do we get a little bit of a softer market, for this? I'd be interested to kind of hear that and get the takes. Lazy weeks. I know our boy Tambo talks about that at times where people will flock to the certain, the top 3 or 4 or 5 people in the industry. What do they say? Who they like? Play it and move on. I'm not going to do a lot of my own research this week just because I don't have time. Short week. Most people are off today. Yada yada. So maybe Willie Z goes on the radar. I hope so. This next guy, I do not think will go over on the radar, and he finished strong to the year. Tom Kim, $8,700. Probably too cheap. Number 1 in putting, number 3 in recent form, 5th in stats, 1st in approach, 2nd opportunity, 5th in birdie or better. Again, he just finished so well. Didn't play much in the fall swing though, but when he did, he still looked good. Of course, this is his first time here. I'll just play him. I mean, he's just a guy I'm just going to play, especially at 8,700. May have to get overweight on him, but I'm going to play him. In this 8K range, I could almost, if I was going to get super risky, just I'm going to go 8K and below, because the next guy I love is Cam Young. We all know that. That's him and Willie Z are probably 2 of my favorite right now. And this course should do well for him. If he can get a decent putter going, the iron's probably the biggest question mark for him. But just overall talent, he's always there. Love him at 8,800. Real interested to see. You got 87, 88, 8,900 right there between those 3. Does it flatten that ownership out? Does one get really high? I really think Willie Z will be the low one because of the injury, right? What's he going to look like? Getting played in the tournament forever. So maybe we get leverage there, but I like all 3 of these guys, especially Cam Young. I just think the course will fit him well. I don't mind going there at all. Then my bubble boy was Sung Jae. Could see some good ownership there for him. I think he will get owned 8,300. Again, another 8,000 guy. I mean, it's 8,000 range. I mean, Willie Z, Tom Kim, Sung Jae, Cam Young, Harmon, Homa. Homa's a big fan favorite. Bermuda Burns, Sam Burns, Hovland, Spieth. Spieth has a great history here. And then Matsu's got 2 top 5s as well. Are you giving up a lot by moving, going, I'm going to fade Rahm, Scheffler, Cantley, Finau, JT, Xander, Morikawa, Fitz? Absolutely. Does it make you so unique? It does. So, I mean, that's one option. One thing that stuck out to me is like, if I wanted to, or maybe you pick 2 guys out of the 9K and then fade all the rest and go, I'm going to be heavy on the 8K, something like that. Because the pricing soft, I'm interested to see how much the 8K, normally the 8K is a dead zone for us. Interested to see how that shakes out. And because most people will go they go 2 up top, sometimes 3 up top, skip to 8, and they come down to 7 and 6. That's just something we've seen week in and week out. So I'm interested to see how that rolls. I do think Sung Jae will be a guy people go to. 2 top 10s here, an 8th and a 5th. Decent in putting, midfield, 7th in stats, 4th in course fit. 9th in birdie or better, 6th in par 5 DK scoring, 4th in good drive. So lots to like there. He's the bubble boy for me, just strictly on ownership. How high does he get at 8,300? By the time we get to Wednesday night, I know we talk about, and I started doing this late this season. It really did well for me. It got me, got caught fire, had a tremendous summer, into the summer, got to the Fantasy Golf World Championships, finished, I think, top 20 there. Nothing great. I want to do a lot better, but I really just look for a couple spots to get, just full fades. I'm going to take my risk there, and then I can build freely because I'm not really going to be up against much. It's harder. It's tough to swallow those, but doing that and making some of my whatever range I want to be in heavy on, get heavy on there, make 1 or 2, maybe 3 cuts that are up there in the top 10 in ownership type deal, and top 3 ownership, look at it. That really got me different in mindset to just go, all right, I'm going to fade them. If they kill me, they kill me, right? I'm not going to try to get a little bit of all, and it seemed to work. We'll see how Sung Jae may be a spot where I go, all right, he's going to be high owned. I'll fade him and just hope it doesn't burn me type of deal. 7K, I think you can get unique here. I think where you play here could make the difference in the week, right? Not as strong as up top. could see a little bit of balance there, but I just think so many people are going to want to go to Rom JT that, the 7K will still have to be owned to an extent, unless people just go, well, I don't see much difference between 7 and 6K, so I'll drop down. But I'm going to go with Theegala. Played really well. He's coming into his own. He's one of the guys that, because he finished 30th, top 30 in FedEx, he got here. Second at the RSM, 22nd at the Houston Open, so he is a guy that played late into the fall swing. I like that. Stats, he's just average across the board, but for $7,300 in a field like this, give me 4 rounds with him, I'll take my chances on a guy like that. So I like Theegala, hoping he doesn't get too ownership owned this week. Connor, 7,800, not a guy I go to a lot. Normally he's pretty popular, but he didn't have the best finishes to the end of the year. Burned some people at times. He has played here, got a 19th in 2020. Stat-wise, he looks really good, right? Normally comes down for putting for him, but 3rd in approach, 4th in opportunities inside 18 feet. Birdie or better, not as great, so I'd probably be a worrisome 23rd there, and 11th in good drives. I haven't picked because I think potential ownership. I think some may go, can he make enough birdies to get there, right? You want these guys to be flirting with that top 15. Again, there's only 39, so these are the guys you need to be up there. So maybe he gets a little bit of ownership depression because of that. We'll see. And then Adam Scott, another guy. I just don't know if it'll pop for people. I think he's kind of focused here. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be one to go to live. Doesn't look like he is. Stat-wise, he had a pretty good year last year in general. Maybe he builds upon that and kind of, one more run for him per se, after, he was top. I don't know if he ever got to number 1 in the world, but was way up there for a while, won the Masters, stuff like that. 16th in approach, 3rd in par 5 DK scoring, 10th in opportunities inside 18 feet. 21st here, the only time he played it since 2017. That was 2 years ago. 4th in putting. So, I mean, that's enough stuff for me that I like, and he's seen the course. I'll take a chance there, $7,600. Bubble Boy for me would be Seamus Power. Was a DFS darling there for a little while. Finished red hot, and it was a lot of putting. 1st at Bermuda, 3rd at Mayakoba, 5th at RSM. He's on Bubble Boy because I think people that'll look at that and people will talk about his finish, maybe gets ownership, but I wonder how many people go, a lot of it was because of putting, because he's one of the bottom 15% in the field in a lot of these stats. So I got him Bubble Boy just because I want to see how people talk about him up. Where do we think people are going to go there? He played here last year, got a 15th, so that's another plus. If he's a high-owned guy, or higher-owned in this range relative to his price, he'll be a guy I could fade. But that's why he's on the Bubble Boy. I do like him. Just want to see how that thing shake out by the time we get to Wednesday. 6K range, I'm going to start with Scott Stallings. Saw the Twitter stuff with him. Funny. I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was him. I guess there's another Scott Stallings in the same place, same wife name. I just barely saw it on, let me make sure. I think it was actually in our GC Warrior Room Slack channel. I'll verify that here in a second. Let me get back in there. But I like him in general. Finished good, got really hot, then kind of cooled off a little bit. But I think his overall game just got a lot better. Yeah, it was Scott Stallings. So, yeah, I was making sure. 2 Scott Stallings, both living in the same place, both wives the same name, and the Masters sent his invite to the wrong Scott Stallings. I thought that was kind of funny. If you go on his Twitter, at Stallings Golf, you can check that out. But either way, $6,600. I like him a lot. He's 11th in stats, 11th in putting. Really, for me, that's enough, right? For this price, when I'm only going to pick a few down here. 7th in opportunities inside 18 feet, 11th in birdie or better, midfield and approach and good drives. I'm willing to take chances on that. So I'll go there, $6,600. Trey Mullinax. Maybe this is a guy that just doesn't really get talked about much. I don't know. He had a 4th at the Houston, missed the cut at RSM, but really good in stats. He just is not a great putter. It'll come down to putting for him. He's almost dead last in the field for me. But his stats, he's 8th, 18th, 10th, 10th, 12th. So, probably a little deep dive there just to see how comfortable I am. But, I'm not going to play a ton down here in the 6K range, but he is one that I do like this week as we sit here on a Monday. Svensson, $6,400. He's been an up and down DFS darling. Like I've been pivoting when others pivot. So when he got really popular, I went off of him. Then everybody jumped off of him, and I went to him. He won the RSM, 39th at the Houston. Did miss the cut at Mayakoba, but he's a guy down here that has been playing golf, played later into the season. 6th in birdie or better, really like that. 15th in par 5 DK scoring, 19th in opportunities inside 18 feet. Enough there that I like, and finish strong end of the year. Maybe get that momentum and keep rolling for this price. He's definitely worth some risk for me. Bubble Boy be Tom Hoagie. I think really he could be a popular guy down here. He does, when he gets hot or people get on him, he can be high owned. I don't think a ton of people are going to be that high owned in the 6K range, so I think you can pretty much play whoever. 30th in opportunities inside 18 feet was, and 32nd in good drives. Now, driving is not as important this week because of the wide fairways, but that's the only reason why I had him as a bubble boy. Wanted to give a guy just as, but he's a guy that has caught my eye that I could potentially go to by the time we get to Wednesday night. We'll see what the deep dive and stuff shows us over the next couple of days. My fade of the week, you know, at 39-man field, it's hard to determine what's going to be a fade. The one guy that I just kind of think I'll be off of, and I think he'll be high on, but he's right there around Willie Z, Tom Kim, and Cam Young is Homa. So $8,600. Talk about home life, you know, brand new baby. Probably, I'm just, again, this is a narrative street, but when you're in a 39-man no cut type deal, you know, has he been working on the game or focusing on the brand new baby? You know, spending some time there, helping around because he's about to start his season again. Don't know. He has played her twice, 25th and 15th, so not horrible. He's got decent stats. There's going to be some guys I have to try to take stands on, and he's one right now that I think I'd probably fade or be light on at best. Sleeper of the week. Again, everybody's going to have ownership a lot higher than normal with only 39 guys, but I like Harmon, and not a guy I probably get to a lot. Rates out really well for me. I don't know if he'll pop, out there. He did have great finish to the season. 2nd at Mayakoba, 2nd at RSM, so maybe that gets him some ownership. He's only played here once, 2018. Well, since 2017, that's all I go back for this thing. 3rd, so good finish here. Decent in the putting, 12th overall. 10th in opportunities, 10th in approach, 13th in opportunities inside 18 feet. 5th in par 5 DK scoring. Probably the only quote-unquote negative would be he's 20th in the field in birdie or better, but, I mean, I think he can get there if he needs to. So I don't mind Harmon this week. Maybe a little bit lower owned where he's priced. Not that he's priced up, but just there's a lot of options there that he could be one of the lower-owned guys this week. A couple other guys I kind of like, gut feel plays if you want to call it that. Normally I give you 4 or 5 here, only 2 this week because, you know, there's, again, only 39 guys. Sam Burns, $8,400. Played here last year, got a 19th. Didn't finish great to the end of the year, but his driver normally is what can get him in trouble. And so I think out here maybe it's not as big of a deal. We know he can light it up putting, so I like some Burns. And then Matsu, you know, what's he going to look like? He was another big live candidate. A 2nd here, a 4th here, a 41st, and a 13th. So 3 really good years, 1 almost last. Did miss the Houston Open. He had the neck stuff, and kind of wondering, all right, is he going to be fresh, finally healthy? He was always a candidate for withdrawal. That's probably what keep his ownership down, though, because everyone's like, this is not an event. I want his neck or back or something to stiffen up, and he's out. Because if you lose a guy on a no cut, you're dead, right? You're drawn dead. So stats don't look great, but he had such a bad end of the year, just battling all that. Course fit and putting look fine. We know he can, you know, his irons can be fire. Could be a potential low own play that I do like this week. Betting top 5 that pop in 2 long shots, like I mentioned, provided by Price Picks and Underdog. Just re-upped our Underdog agreement for 2023. They got playoff best balls going right now. Those are a lot of fun. Guys in the GC Warrior Room talk about it over in Slack. If you want to go check that out, you can use the code GUP on both these sites. Both are dollar for dollar match up to $100. So you put 100 in, you get 100. Put 40 in, you get 40, so on and so forth. Price Picks, always I'll put out Price Picks on Wednesday. Love their product, everything they do. I like both these for a little bit different reasons. Underdog does have the best ball stuff. I'm hoping they did a little 3-week FedEx Cup best ball for in the golf, and I really enjoyed it. So hoping they kind of bring some of that back. Maybe they do. I don't know when they would do it. I just hope they do a little more of a season-long type deal. We'll see. Obviously, their big focus is NFL and stuff going on now. NFL best balls the playoff one is fun to me. The season long one I get, a lot of people get real into it, but this one you're like, I'm paying for it now, and I'll know within a month or so how I do. You're not having to wait from, sometimes they start the big ones like April, May, and they go all the way through to August, and then you got to wait all season. So this one's, hey, and it's a lot of strategy, right? You're trying to pick, all right, because you pick your team, right? You do your draft, and your team's locked in. And so you're projecting who's going to get the most games in. So a little bit of handicapping comes into it. It's strategy as well. Then who do you just pick as the players? Top 5 bets for me: Willie Z 20-1, and my card will be light this week. There's not a lot of value per se in a small card like this. You get a little bit when you got Rom up there, getting a low number, Cantley, Scheffler, Tom Kim 28, Young 20. Thigala 50, Adam Scott 40. Those are guys I kind of got my eye on early. I'll post, my first round of picks probably tomorrow, and then final card on Wednesday. A couple long shots I like, which these will probably be more like see how the odds are this week with it being a short field. But normally these will be guys I look at top 20 type bets, maybe a top 10. I don't think they could win, but they could be up there come Sunday. Stallings is 100-1, and Svensson is 100-1 as well. So I like those two. Again, no one and done this week. Most of them that are out there start next week, so I'll have that covered as well. If you do have one and you need someone this week, shoot me a message either in Slack or Twitter. Hope you come join us. Again, New Year, get you 30% off this week only. I'll lock that out. Thursday at tea time, we'll cut that off. Includes a 7-day risk-free trial. Should be debuting the golf, brand new golf tools, enhanced, updated. We have them still up there now, but the ones we've had for the last couple of years. But complete overhaul, and we'll be rolling that out. I'm hoping next week, but here in the next couple weeks for sure. And then we're going to keep building upon it as we march to kind of the TPC, the big events. I did see Millie Maker tickets already. Millie Maker qualifiers already up on DraftKings. Fantasy Golf World Championship qualifiers already up. Earliest they've ever done that. So that's awesome. And it looks like there's a Millie Maker on February 11th. I am not sure. That may be, see if we could check it out real quick. We're not up against too much time. That may be like, I'm trying to think what would be that early. My guess would be like Riv, maybe. Let's see real quick. But that's awesome because we've normally only seen, it used to be just the majors. Then they added the players. Now this one, let's see what it is. Well, the screen will quit jumping on me. Oh, Phoenix Open. Okay. I think I saw February 3rd is what I saw. So that'd be probably the same weekend as the, which that makes sense for them, especially because they'll probably be debuting their big sports book, all that thing. And that should be Super Bowl weekend as well. So that could be a really fun week all together. But either way, there's Millie Maker qualifiers out there, Fantasy Golf World Championship qualifiers. That's fun to see. I like seeing golf grow. Really looking forward to 2023. I'll go live for premium members only Wednesday night. I'll do it with Kenny when he can. If not, I try to hop on there for 20-30 minutes. These weeks where there's just not a ton to talk about as far as the Jimmys and the Joes, is more about the strategy stuff. I keep it at 30 minutes or so. Sometimes we go a little longer if we got lots to dive into, or a big week, with the Master, stuff like that. So looking forward to the year. Appreciate all the support out there. Oh, again, I'll talk about these this week for the next few weeks. If you were a member and you used PayPal, I've said this throughout last year, but right now between now and the Masters, we get a lot of renewals. We ended PayPal last year. We stopped using it in March. And if your renewal is coming up, you should get an email from us and it'll say, hey, we don't use PayPal no more. You're not going to be renewed, but here's your code. It keeps your pricing exactly what you had. Please go sign up on the site with this code. Nothing changes. So if you don't see that email, or maybe it went to spam or whatever, you can shoot me an email at support@gupscorner.com or hit me up in Twitter, whatever, and I'll look up at your account. I'll get you the code. It's no big deal at all. This is our last big push of that. Once we get to March 15th, we're done. So everybody on from there had been renewed. But there's a lot of you out there that are going to renew here between now and March 15th. So I wanted to say that. So if you see something or somehow you lose access to the site, you don't know what's going on, just hit me up. We'll get you taken care of there. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday night. Watch some of the rest Rose Bowl plus a great Bengals-Bills game. And we'll talk to you soon. See you Wednesday.